Good afternoon. Today is a most auspicious day, and I want to start by saluting my great teachers who taught me, so many subjects and so many disciplines, so many skills, and above all, a philosophy to live and philosophy to execute and philosophy to, do things, do projects which can help humanity, right? So, what today we are going to do is that, as you know, we are starting a kickoff for FirstVidya. I just want to tell you how to sort of think about projects. What does a project mean? Why should we do it? Right? What are good projects? What are bad projects? Right? So the way students you have to do it is that first you have to think about an issue which certain community is facing. Maybe it's a communication community, internet community, VLSI community, IoT community. You name it, any scientific or technical community which has been doing a specialized things. They have a lot of problems, both in thought process itself and design itself. And then even bigger problems are there in implementation, right? Let's think about internet where, I worked and spent a lot of time thinking about both theory and practice. So, for example, we have a lot of mathematical models of internet, right? So, does this model make sense? Does this model, capture reality? Will the solution of this model help me understand behavior of internet on a large scale? So, those are the questions we struggle with. We struggle with those problems and bring in appropriate mathematics so that we can solve these problems. And you will be amazed that out of nowhere, just like magic, some incredible solutions come, which will just, which will be there, make your name immemorial for rest of humanity. Anybody who reads my paper now today writes to me that, oh my God, I cannot even imagine this. Even I did not imagine it, just happened, right? These things are just like a miracle. Similarly, in implementation, nowadays we want to, all of a sudden the fad is to build distributed systems because we have internet. All of a sudden we want to build IoT, Internet of Things. We want to connect everything from our car to its keys to antenna to, power meter to plants to WSN to, a donkey, zebra, whatever you wish. Because of this cheap technology of communication and, very affordable wireless sensors, we want to automate everything. Believe me, there are companies making a lot of money in wireless sensor network. They're teaming up with agriculturists and they're automating the whole thing. Right? So how do we go about it? How do you think about it? So the way we do a project is that we think of a problem at a very small scale. Maybe you face this problem in reality where, you are executing a project. You face this problem while you are thinking about it. So what first thing to do is just write down that problem when you come across it, right? Then once you have a problem, then your objective should be finding a solution to this problem. So what do? You search all sorts of literature databases from people who have written on this topic, who have thought about this topic exclusively. And then once you find a solution, then the project moves to implementation. What do we mean by implementation? For example, I have an internet protocol, right? Now, first I design the protocol theoretically, see as a state-based machine that if this is correct or not, will it not get stuck, it will not kill some packet or other things. Then what do you do? You start implementing it and testing it. How do we test? Right? Let's say my protocol is ready. So the test of a protocol is that you should pass the code of the protocol to using that protocol and still that code should compile. Okay? Just to draw an analogy, the test of a compiler is that compiler should be able to compile its own code. I know it sounds convoluted, but that's what the fact is. Everything has to be tested. Technology is all about testing. It's not like we just, dump something together and leave it like that. So for that, what all you have to learn? You have to learn good mathematics. You have to learn good programming. You have to learn good operating system skills. And when I mean operating system, I mean Unix and Linux, nothing else. Because almost all of the internet, has been implemented in these two incredible operating systems. Internet's history is Linux and Unix history. Okay? Then you have to learn about different hardwares, how they behave, this router, Cisco router. Then you have to learn about, authentication, encryption, security, all sorts of things. And by putting all these modules together, by cooking them up somehow, you come up with something which will serve so many objectives you were tasked with. And that whole document, which thinks about all these things in steps with timeline and who will do it and maybe some budget, that's what is a project document. That's how you write projects, right? So project writing is a very, very difficult skill because you have to have the vision of the whole thing that will start from step one and reach to the roof in a smooth and sort of seamless manner without any hiccups. And many projects are not successful. I can tell you, Tehri Dam, to build it, it took almost 50 plus years. Still it's not complete. It's an ongoing project. Okay, so a lot of frustration happens, a lot of odd problems can happen, sometimes war happens, sometimes accidents happen. But a true engineer is not moved by all these things. A true engineer, he or she, is going to achieve their objective no matter what. We are going to build what we have started with. And anything which comes in our path, we'll just ignore it and we'll reroute our path so that we can achieve our objectives. Engineers are crazy people, they have very crazy ideas, and the best part is that those crazy ideas are the ones who change the world. Can you imagine, that today a phone call starts somewhere in Philippines, or a instant message starts somewhere in Philippines, and it can reach San Francisco via Europe within a fraction of a second. 10 years ago or 20 years ago, if you talked about this, people would think you are crazy. But today it's reality. And it's work of a lot of engineers and scientists and, people who have funded it, the visionaries and the governments who have allowed it. They have all worked together to make this happen. And that's why building a new world is complicated. But that does not mean it cannot be done, right? So coming back to my project talk, project should have a clear, objective, a clear title, and then how it will address the problem or objective. What are the resources required in terms of machines, human power, thinkers, writers, testers, all sorts of people are contributing to a project, right? Then you should have a Gantt chart that how the project will move from month one or week one or whatever timeline you pick. Then you can have a budget and things like that. So, since Swet is organizing a project discussion, you should understand all these things. If you don't have a project template, you write to me, I'll give you a project template and successful project template. Second thing is that the writing should be crisp and brief and to the point. Don't belabor. Third, you got to have a very good idea of literature, and wherever you are quoting things which are not that well known or are controversial, keep a reference ready, because you might be asked that how do you know this? So you have to say, I know this because of this paper or because of this workshop or because this video recording this person said, or whatever your reference to support these things is, right? So finally, I would request you to get into the deeper stuff. See what are the problems community is facing, how you can alleviate those problems, and that's what will give you name, fame, and even money and all that stuff. Now, if you need any help regarding internet technologies or related to how to code internet or operating system or C or anything like that, I can help you. And Swet is my great friend. You talk to Swet, and he is one man who will support you all the way. He is a crazy engineer, but very, very powerful, positive, and successful engineer. And I've seen very few people like Swet who are day in, day out after their objectives. And that's why he's successful. So my best wishes to all of you, and my best wishes to all the participants, and my best wishes and, congratulations on the success of my friend Swet Chandan and his organization FirstVidya. I wish all of you guys great success in whatever adventure, whatever exploration, whatever projects you take. You should be successful. So I will conclude by saying the word Vijayi Bhava, and then of course we have Jai Science, Jai Technology, and Jai Hind. Take care of yourself. Thank you everyone.